Hello, friends and family. Thanks for joining me this afternoon here as I continue my study of my ancestral tongue, being the Igbo language of Nigeria. Thank you have been following along with me over this journey of about 8 months now in trying to learn the tongue and be conversational as well as fluent somewhere down the line. I really appreciate those that have gone along with this journey with me, as I've basically been doing like 3 words a day for about 8 months, and also studying the Igbo Bible to pick up more knowledge and build my vocabulary that way. That's been helping me quite a bit, as well as being able to have a phone app that actually pronounces all the words during the Igbo Bible. Yes, I'm struggling a little bit with the speed of it, but it's all helping me quite a bit as I try to become more and more conversational, again, in the Igbo language of Nigeria, the land of my maternal grandfather's ancestry, in which I discovered over a 10-year journey via family history research as well as DNA testing, all combined together, all led back to my ancestors being imported from Igbo land to the slave port of Calabar, and then to the state of Virginia. And eventually they ran from Virginia and made it to Canada and back down to Ohio, where they eventually settled in Belmont County, the town of Barnesville, Ohio, where most of that nucleus of that family is to this very day. So, of course, I'm giving my shouts out to all of my Drake people, Allisons, and all of those that are located right now in the city of Barnesville, Ohio. Love you and miss you. But nonetheless, let me get on with it. Again, this is session 3 of 3, as I'm going through a book that's been teaching me the Igbo language. And one of the modules, one of the sections was on the house, the structure of the house, the things that you'll find in the house, so forth and so on, the things that you use to maintain the house was contained in this book. And I finally finished that unit, and it took me, this will be my 3rd video to cover all the topics, because there was over 130 different topics being presented. So this is going to be topics 101 to 135, which will conclude this session on house, again, in the Igbo language of Nigeria. So house is pronounced Ola. Ola is house in the Igbo language of Nigeria. Again, it's Ola, which is house. All right, let me scroll down in my presentation to item 101. Bear with me in a moment, and we'll go from there. Okay. The first word that I'm encountering in this session is Shale-Foe. Shale-Foe, which is shelf in the Igbo language of Nigeria. And one of the things, if you're an English speaker like me as your first language, you'll notice that the way I'm pronouncing it is kind of strange to you. In E, I'm going to just use the English pronunciation of the letters. It's not the Igbo pronunciation, just to keep it simple. The E that I'm pronouncing actually becomes an A in Igbo. And so that's what you're going to see here. So that U-looking character with the dot underneath, that's called a diacritic, and that's actually pronounced as an O and not a U. So that's why you're hearing me saying Shale-Foe instead of shelf. So remember that as we go through it. So again, Shale-Foe stands for shelf. The shingles, the decoration on your roof, is Shingụlụ. No, let me say it correctly. Shingụlụ is shingle. Shingụlụ, shingle. Shower is Ah-Hue, shower. Ah-Hue, shower. And if you notice that last U on Ah-Hue is literally like an U. So it's pronounced like a U. So Ah-Hue, shower. And you also can use shawa for shower. Shawa, shower. Stairs in the Igbo language would be Stay-Poe, stairs. Stay-Poe, stairs. Table in Igbo language would be Tebulu, table. Tebulu, table. Telephone would be A-Kwain-Tea, A-Kwain-Tea, telephone, almost like saying make your acquaintance. So A-Kwain-Tea, telephone. En-Yau, strainer or filter. En-Yau, strainer or filter. Okay, kitchen is one of those words where you use a few words to describe a concept. So it would be pronounced as follows. Ebe Ana Esi Nri. Again, that's Ebe Ana Esi Nri, which is kitchen. And what you're doing, you're using some root words. It would be the first two being Ebe Ana. Now, I'm pronouncing not all of the letters in it because, again, in Igbo, as you've been following me on some of these videos, you actually drop some vowels when you pronounce. It's the same thing as English. It's almost like having a contraction. You know, instead of always saying do not, we'll take out some letters and say don't. So it's the same concept. Igbo does the same thing with certain words that it combines together. So again, Ebe Ana, you don't pronounce it Ebe Ana. It would be Ebe Ana, which means place. And AC means the next word, source, and Nri is food. So what you're really saying, you're saying the place that's the source of food, which would be your kitchen. So Ebe Ana Esi Nri would be kitchen. And there's some other words you can use too. I mean, it's just like English. You can have several words to say the same thing. But you can also use Key-Chen, almost like saying kitchen with an accent, Key-Chen. Or you can say Use-Kwu, which also means kitchen. Use-Kwu can also be kitchen. But I prefer to use the descriptive word again, which would be Ebe Ana Esi Nri, which would be kitchen. For Kichin-Sink, I can only find one term, and it would be Kichin-Sink. Kichin-Sink for kitchen sink. Okay, I like the description of television. Of course, there's more than one way of describing a television, but one that I found was Igwe On-Yone-Yoe. That's Igwe On-Yone-Yoe. Let me get it right. Say it one more time. Igwe On-Yone-Yoe, which is television. And you're using two root words to describe a television screen. It would be first Igwe, which means box. Igwe literally means box or machine. Let me say it that way. I got it wrong. Igwe means machine, and On-Yone-Yoe means images. So it's a machine that displays images, meaning a television. So Igwe On-Yone-Yoe means television. And one of the words that can also be used, it would be television, can also be used for television. But I like to use more of the words that sound more like the native language. So I prefer to use, and you can do whatever you want to, but I prefer to use Igwe On-Yone-Yoe, meaning television, machine of images. The next one, toaster, sounds exactly like the way we pronounce our words in Black English in America. Because we struggle sometimes to say the ER, like on toaster. If you've ever noticed and you listen to us closely, we'll say Toe-Stah. It's the same thing as the Igbo language because, again, we inherited our accent from the Igbo language for us Black Americans. Again, it's almost impossible to be a Black American and not have Igbo blood in your veins, especially if you came from the state of Virginia. In other words, your ancestors came from Nigeria over to Virginia. It's a great chance you are an Igbo because 40% of all slaves that were brought into Virginia were of the Igbo tribe in and of itself. So the Igbo were extremely numerous in being brought to America, arguably the biggest tribe in numbers that were ever brought to the Americas during the slave trade. The Yorubas, also from Nigeria, were very numerous. And you had a lot of the Fulas, also known as the Fulani, who were also brought from Nigeria. But mainly, if you're from Virginia roots, where your family started in America, more than likely you have at least one Igbo ancestor, if not several, in your family tree. But nonetheless, let me get out of that and get back to the language of what I'm learning. Again, I'm a student, not a teacher, so feel free to correct me if you're a native speaker, as a lot of my friends overseas have been doing thus far. Toe-Stah is toaster. Toe-Stah, toaster. Okay, restroom would be as follows. Oh-Lau, Um-Poe-See. Remember, Oh-Lau is house, and you're describing what part of the house. Oh-Lau, Um-Poe-See. Um-Poe-See means the toilet. So the toilet within the house is the restroom. So you're saying Oh-Lau, Um-Poe-See for the restroom, or simply toilet. En-Gah-Gee means spoon. En-Gah-Gee, spoon. Fork would be En-Doe-Doe, fork. En-Doe-Doe, fork. Knife is Um-Mah. Um-Mah. You're almost saying it as if your mouth and your lips are closed. You're not opening up, almost like moaning. So your knife would be Um-Mah, knife. Okay. Pot is Ee-Tay. E-Tay. Remember, in Igbo, the letters aren't exactly what they look like in English. So the I there is basically an E, and the E is an A. So you would say Ee-Tay for pot, almost like saying eating, right? So it makes you remember when you associate these things to the words. Ee-Tay, pot. Okay. Pan is almost like English. It's just like saying the English word with an accent. So it's pan, pan, instead of pan. Pan for pan. But also, in some cases, you can also use Ee-Tay for it as well. So Ee-Tay can be pot or it can be pan. But I like to use pan for pan. Okay. Sponge is Oh-Boe. Oh-Boe sponge. And I apologize up front for what I call a heavy English tongue. It doesn't seem like it's very agile. My lips are heavy when I try to pronounce certain Igbo letters. Like, for instance, what you would see on their screen in English would be GB. That's actually one letter in Igbo, and it's pronounced a certain way in Igbo, which I really can't get out. And so my friends that have been teaching me from Nigeria have basically been saying, we understand your struggle and your accent that you're going to have in trying to pronounce GB. Just pronounce it as a B, as you would in English. And so this is why I'm pronouncing sponge as Oh-Boe. Oh-Boe, sponge. Okay. I know that we talked about in previous lessons that I've been quizzing myself on these videos. Ah-Hue means grass, but also Ah-Hue can mean garbage. So in this case, on this screen, Ah-Hue is garbage or waste or rubbish, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. Ah-Hue, garbage. Okay. Coffee machine. I can't drink it anymore for medical reasons, but it was one of my favorite pastimes a few years ago when the doctors allowed me to drink caffeine. But coffee machine would be Igwe coffee. Igwe coffee. And you're using the root words Igwe, which means machine, and coffee for coffee. So again, remember, in Igbo, and just like most languages out there, when you study them, are in the same format as Igbo. You give the subject and you give the description of the subject later. And so this one is no exception. So Igwe is machine and coffee is coffee. So you're saying machine for coffee or coffee machine. So again, you pronounce it Igwe coffee or coffee machine. The word I found for village, because I don't care where you're at in Nigeria, you'll run into the village eventually. Um, After coming out of the big cities of Lagos and where I normally go and visit, Uyo, so forth and so on. It doesn't take you long. If you just drive a little bit, you'll run out into the village areas. And what I found in the village, or the word for village, is Oh-Boe-See. Oh-Boe-See means village. And that's some of the best life that you're going to find out there. What we typically do when we go to Uyo, we will preach at the Nigerian Christian Institute that's over there, and then we'll travel on Sundays to the actual villages that are nearby. And it's just wonderful going down the dirt road, seeing the plants and the vegetations and the homes and the people just in some beautiful garments, just walking down those dirt roads on the worship service. It's just a beautiful sight. And what I recommend every Black American do before you die, go home and visit the fatherland. We like to call it motherland in Black America, but really over there they call it fatherland. Go and visit the fatherland. It'll change you forever. And you'll see so much about what we can do and how much we achieve over in countries outside of America. That'll just blow your mind. I mean, you go from, like I was in the financial district of Lagos and seeing all the skyscrapers that look just like New York City. And then go down to the villages that look like the rural areas where we come from. So you get the whole spirit of life. Big city life, small town life, village life, just like in America. And anywhere else, you'll find that all over Nigeria from the 2 trips I've been blessed to go to so far. I'm hoping that the travel ban is lifted soon and this coronavirus stuff will go away so that we can travel once again, because it actually canceled my trip this year. I can't travel. I was supposed to go in May this year for my 3rd annual visit, but good Lord sees fit. He will open that door once again for me to go back to, again, the fatherland of Nigeria. But my goal the next time I go is also to step foot on Igbo land, the ancestral homeland, before I die, on my bucket list of things to do before I take my last breath on this earth. So again, Oh-Boe-See is village. Oh-Boe-See, village. Okay, going back to the house. I mentioned this one earlier, but I'll mention it again now, is Isi-Ola for attic. And the word Isi means head, and Ola is house. You're saying the head of the house. You're saying the top of the house, besides the roof, is Isi-Ola, meaning attic. Okay. All right. We said these words earlier in the previous lesson, a couple videos ago. En-Gah-Gee can mean appliances. It means what you do work with in the house, but it also just means tools in general. And so in this case, En-Gah-Gee means tools, your hammers, your saws, your wrenches and screwdrivers, so forth and so on, are your tools. So you're using the root words En-Gah, which means accessories, and Oru, meaning for work. So the accessories for your work means your tools. So again, you would pronounce it En-Gah-Gee, tools, in the Igbo language of Nigeria. Okay. Again, remember we studied previously that AKWA in English letters can be used for several different words at the same time. So, for instance, aqua, that's bed. As I drop my voice, remember it's a tone language, that means bed. But we're talking about towels. You have to say aqua differently. You have to say aqua. You have to go up and down in your voice so people understand that you're talking about towel and not a bed. So aqua means towel. And specifically, it means cloth. Let me get it right. Aqua means cloth. Then you describe the type of cloth you're talking about. En-Hicha is a type of cloth, meaning a cleaning cloth. So when you say aqua En-Hicha, you're saying towel, meaning some type of cloth to clean either the body or a surface with. So again, it's aqua En-Hicha, towel, in the Igbo language. Okay, upstairs. Now remember we talked about Isi-Ola, which was the attic. But to say upstairs and not include the attic, you would say Nelu-Ola. Nelu means above but within the house. And Ola means house. So to say upstairs, you would say Nelu-Ola, which means upstairs of the house. Okay. Vacuum looks like an adaptation of an English word. So you're basically saying vacuum with an accent. So you would say vacuumu for vacuum. Vacuumu, vacuum. Okay. That which stores your clothes. We either call it an armoire or a wardrobe over here. Basically a box that's a closet, we would think of in America. So for wardrobe or armoire, you would say wodrobu, wodrobu, wardrobe or armoire. Almost wrapping it up here. Just a few more. So say vase, you would say vasi, vasi, vase. Okay. Wall would be mbidi, mbidi, wall. You see the gentleman on the screen, I'm using it as a graphic, is putting plaster on the wall. So it's mbidi, wall. All right. Now, washing machine is one of the exceptions where the description goes before the subject. So again, in Igbo, just like English, you have some inconsistencies on some things. You just got to get used to them just like you do with English. So washing machine would be sa Igwe, washing machine. Sa would be washing, and Igwe, as you know, means machine. So you would say sa Igwe, washing machine. All right. Glass is just an adaptation of an English word with an accent added to it. So it would be glossy, glass, glossy, glass. I actually like the way that rolls off the tongue, glossy, glass. You can also use eco for glass. You know, eco, as we studied in the past, means cup. You can also use that for glass. But I prefer glossy, which would be glass, glossy, glass. Okay. Welcome back. You'll find them here across the Atlantic in the U.S. as well as overseas in Nigeria. And it will be pronounced Ute Nabata. Ute Nabata. Welcome, Matt. And that comes from the root words ute, which means mat, and you describe what type of mat, nabata, which means welcome. So you're saying mat for welcome, or welcome mat in English vernacular. So it would be ute nabata, welcome mat. Okay. Next one is window. Again, an adaptation of an English word, but you say it with an accent. So it would be window, window, instead of window, window, window. Okay, waste basket or garbage basket or rubbish basket, however you prefer it. It would be Nkata ahia. Nkata means basket, and ahihia means garbage. So basket for garbage or waste, however you want to say it, would be Nkata ahia. Let me say it right. I said it incorrectly. It's Nkata and ahihia. Waste basket. I forgot a syllable in there. So it's Nkata ahihia. Waste basket. All right, last one on this lesson. I plan on doing another one tomorrow after worship service, if the good Lord sees fit. And we'll be talking about banking, so financing tomorrow, but we're going to finish up the house items for now. So the last one on this lesson today would be hita umiri. Hita umiri, water heater. And it comes from the root words hita, which is heater, and umiri, which is water. So you're describing the type of heater as umiri, a water heater. So you're really saying heater of water or water heater. So hita umiri is water heater. So again, thank you for joining me. That's the last one today in the conclusion. This is lesson 3 of 3 on house of the Igbo language of Nigeria. May God bless you and may he keep you. Talk to you later. The good Lord sees fit. Bye-bye.